G'day all, Ben here from Gold Diggers Monday Night Live 49. Welcome everyone. There's a stack of people here already. Yes, Kylie and Russell. Warren's here. G'day Warren, how are you? Warren's on next week, so that should be a cracking show. We've got a really big announcement later on in the night about next week's show. Yes, it's Michael Gantz here. G'day Michael, how are you? Frank's here. Cameron and Andrew and Tess. Everyone's here. Francis is here. Francis won a pinpointer a little while ago. And she went out with the girls on the weekend. She's just reported in the comments there, and found two pennies with the pinpointer. I don't know whether she was just using a pinpointer or whether she was using a detector as well. But well done, Francis, on that. You sound super excited about that, so well done. So big show tonight. I'll have a sip. Everyone gets up me for not having a sip when I pick the cup up. So. Right, so big show tonight. I got into trouble from Facebook this week, so and it's all about tonight really. Apparently, using the term flash sale may upset some viewers because of the word flash. So I got in some strife with Facebook today. So, the last few days anyway. So they've shortened my ads up a little bit. So, g'day Baz and Russell and Mike. So tonight's giveaway, and we're going to do this in the standard way, is an Ace 200 fantastic machine. So share the post and either before the show or during the show, and go into the prize to win this. We'll run the randomizer a bit later on. Also on our Facebook page, in case anyone's missing it, the Ace 200, they're valued about $3.19, so they're a good beginner's machine. Also on our Facebook page, every Christmas we give away a machine as a bit of a Christmas gift. This year's machine is a Technetics G2. I know that's probably, no, it's not back to front, but it's a Technetics G2. These have got a recommended retail price of $1,099. So really, really good quality machine. So the G2, and you have to like the page and share the post. That's all you need to do to go in the draw to win this fella here. So, and we really sell them about $9.99, $9.50, something like that. So $1,099 is a bit misleading, but yes. So the G2 is up there as well. We won't talk too much more about that tonight because it's already on the page there. So what I thought. G'day Chris and Luke and Matt and Baz is here. Baz is not going fishing by all accounts. Daryl and Lee and stacks and stacks of people here. I'm a few comments behind, like I normally am. So, like last week's show, I think everyone enjoyed last week's show. I certainly enjoyed having those blokes in here. And of course Colleen, I shouldn't just say those blokes in here, but those people in here. But we missed out. There was a stack of stuff that I wanted to talk about, and we just ran out of time. Like, we could have spent 3 hours. So what I thought we'd talk a little bit about today is, there's lots of questions about, a stack of questions. But I thought I'd start up with something that I just forgot to share with you when we were talking about Eureka last week. Of course, it was the anniversary last week of Eureka. I'll just get this picture up here. So, and I'll get rid of that. So, Eureka Stockade. So last Monday night, 160 whatever years ago, the the troopers were staged, ready to basically invade the stockade. And there was 2 regiments involved with that, the 12th Regiment of Foot and the 40th Regiment of Foot, plus the local police and some local troopers that were standing there. So the 12th and the 40th Regiment of Foot. Okay. Now Trevor, I haven't seen Trevor on the live stream here, but Trevor from the dark side, Trevor Pye, sent me a couple of photos because he knew I was going to talk about the Eureka Stockade. This is a button he found over there. This is a 40th Regiment of Foot button that he found. Just an amazing button. There, Trevor's here. He just popped up. But Trevor found this 40th Regiment of Foot button. So an amazing find in terms of the history. Also in Trevor's collection now, from what I understand, he didn't find this one, but he acquired it, and it looks like it's fully restored. There's a 12th Regiment of Foot badge. So he's basically got, who was that? Jared. It is big. It's a big button. They were much bigger back then. Jared says it's bigger than my head. Well, it is. Everyone was bigger back then. So, no, but I believe this is a restored one that Trevor also has in his possession. So just a wonderful little bit of history. And I forgot to share it last week when we were talking about the Eureka Stockade. So, yes, so that's the first thing I wanted just to mention, that I told Trevor I'd share those 2 buttons and forgot to share them. So there they are. I'll put them up on my page because they're wonderful, wonderful photos. So tonight is a flash sale night. Now, what the hell is flash sale? To be honest with you, it's a bit of an idea that's just come up in the last little while. So what we're going to do is, you probably need a pen and paper or write some of this stuff down on your phone. So I'm going to give out, I've got some specials written down here that we're going to do super, super low prices on it. Like, you know, some of it's $150 off, some of it's more than that off. And I've got discount codes that if you enter them into the website, they will give you that discount, okay? Now, the discounts will expire at lunchtime tomorrow. I don't want these codes spread everywhere. This is a reward for everyone who likes the show and comes on. So it's only a short period of time. We're going to do the same thing next week with, and throughout the night, we'll have a few specials here and there. We're going to have a huge prize draw next week, but I'll get to that later on. So I've got to put my Santa hat on. I haven't had my Santa hat on all year, so I've got my Santa hat on for the specials. So the first special I'd like to talk about is the Bushwalker Sluice. So the little Bushwalker Sluice, it's about 600 long, it's only 6 inches wide. It's a fantastic travelling sluice. So you can get, it's small, compact, you can put it in a bag, you can put it on carry-on luggage, you can put it on all sorts of things. So, and it's just great fun in the bush. Now, what we're going to do with that is we're going to do 10% off. You still get the bag of pay dirt with it. So until lunchtime tomorrow, you're going to get 10% off that. And that's free shipping still. And the code you need, and I'm not going to write these codes down, is BW97. So BW97 is that code. That code will expire at midday tomorrow. So you really need to get into that. And 10% doesn't sound like a lot off a $129 item, but you get the pay dirt with it, you get free shipping. So that's the first special. And while we're here, while I've got the hat on, we might do another special here. So the Fisher Goldbug 2, okay? It's a fantastic fine gold machine. We normally sell that machine at $17.69. I have got it specialed out at $16.99, but from $17.69, the Gold Bug 2, we're going to drop that down to $15.99. Now you'll never buy one of them cheaper, $15.99, and the code for that, if you're interested in it, is GB47. And I'll repeat these codes later on if you've missed them, sort of thing, if something interests you. So, right, so hat comes off. We've got some more specials there throughout the night. We'll do this. We'll do some specials. So, Jared asks, "Is that cup? That cup has got stuff in it. I don't know whether you can see. It is, but I do pick it up and wave it around. So, yes. So, yeah. G'day, Jane. New here. Sonia's here. Trevor, it's amazing. Trevor says how good that Gold Bug 2 is. It's a phenomenal little machine. Yeah, it's a great machine. So, yeah. Kyle, I need some Viagra to make my hand stick up. Yes. What was the sluice? So people are asking what the codes are for the sluice. So I'll just give you those two codes again. BW97 is the code for the little bushwalker sluice, and GB47 is the Gold Bug. So I'll repeat them. I'll repeat them later on in the show as well. So Grey Ghost. Michael's asking about Grey Ghost headphones. Grey Ghost, a small quantity of the Grey Ghost arrived about an hour ago. So I have got some Grey Ghost in. I haven't even gone through the box to see what's there. I know I did see the Rattler headphone we talked about last week. It's there. I know there's Equinox headphones in there. None of them are on the website as yet. We've got to add them all in. So, yes. So, yeah. So Grey Ghost is in. So I've got a few people to call, sort of thing. So, so Baz is mentioning there that I should wear a full Santa outfit next week. No, that's not going to happen, Baz. Yeah, no, sorry about that, Baz. I'm very, very disappointed. So, yes, we will have some all-rounder machines. G'day, Nadia's here. Nadia's saying we need some wine glasses. Gold Diggers, more wine glasses. Yes, well, that's always a chance. I haven't even thought about that. So, Darren asks about Nell coils for the GPX. Don't even bother. If you're talking about Nell coils, Nell really concentrate on VLF machines, so not GPX machines. So, yeah. Robin's here from Tasmania. G'day, Robin. Oh, Kyle. Who won the mug from last week's 164-year-old question? Kyle, you have reminded me there was 2 mugs. No one's won them yet, Kyle. I haven't gone and had a look. 2 mugs, 164-year-old question. I clean forgot about that, so I'll send out those mugs. I'll contact people after the show about that question, and yes. Sorry about that, folks. Clean forgot about that one. Righto, so let's just scroll to the bottom of the here. Okay, so a lot of people have also been fascinated by the Mars rover that's happening. That's photos have been floating around for a couple of weeks now. So, and the real question, particularly on the gold prospecting pages, is people are looking at pictures like this and saying, is that a quartz stringer along there? Is that a little quartz reef? There were some other photos that showed what looked like tiny little bits of quartz running across the rock. So it looks like when we run out of gold on, I don't know whether there's gold in it, I haven't heard any reports, but it looks like if we ever run out of gold here, we'll be able to duck up there, and if we find the 80% that's still in the ground, we'll be able and run out. We'll be able to duck up here by the sound of it, and have a look at that. So that was a very, very fascinating thing that a lot of people brought to my attention. I was absolutely, you'd expect it on a planet similar to ours that, there might be a bit of gold floating around. So, but just a fascinating little thing. Right, so just a reminder, on the price tonight, Ace 200, we're giving this away. You've got to share the post during or before the live stream. You can share it with friends. You don't have to share it to group pages. But if you share this post, happy days. So you're going in the draw, and we'll draw it out in about 45 minutes or so. So yes, okay. Do you want to do another? Where's my hat? Oh, I've got to put my hat on. So the next little special we're going to do is a large bag of pay dirt. Now these are $129 bag of pay dirt. So we're going to do this pay dirt at 15% off. So that will bring it down to like $105 or something like that. And the code for that is LPD7. So LPD7 is the code for that. Yes, so large pay dirt's LPD7. And it's a cracking size. There's a fair bit of gold in it, from what I've seen. And a lot of people love that size. So let's take the hat up. We'll only do one this time round. So large bag of pay dirt, LPD7. Right, Ian's here. G'day Ian, how you going? G'day Lisa, how are you? Who else have we got here? Darren, extra large, no, but I will add after the show. I will add. Where's my list of stuff I've got to do after the show? I will add extra large, and I'll give 10% off the extra large, 15% off the extra large as well. I'll add that in there. Same code. So the same code. So that was LPD7. So the large and the extra large, we've just increased the prizes. So Jenny's here. G'day Jenny and Carl and Gail. Yeah, Merry Christmas, Gail. She's a work function. So Melanie asks, is the Monlab Gold Monster 1000 any good? It's a cracking machine for looking for gold. There's plenty of people finding a lot of gold going around. So yeah. Right, Mark's here. Oh, Mark, that's very clever. I've just read Mark's comment here. If you found gold on Mars and melted it down, does that make it Mars bars? That's cracking, Mark. Love it. I love it, mate. Love it. So, yes. So it's also been a really, really big week. XP have released a video on the ORX. Now, for those that don't know what the ORX is, XP have always been known to make probably a high-end VLF machine. It's probably one of the most popular detectors in Europe, in that better end of the market sort of thing, and is a fantastic coin and relic machine. It's well proven over in Europe that it's a well proven coin and relic machine. It hasn't been used extensively here in Australia as a gold machine, although I have used it a little bit on the gold fields, but not enough to get good at it. So XP make a $2,000 machine. So XP this week released a video, which is on the Facebook page, about the ORX. It's Gary doing the ORX. Gary's one of the, the diggers, the testers, if you like. So the ORX is about a 15-minute video, and it looks phenomenal. I'm lucky enough to be selected as one of the testers here. So I'm getting a pre-release one in the next 2 weeks or so. What I want to know is the ORX is basically the XP Deus, but with less programs, less stuff on it, right? So it's, if you like, the poverty pack of the XP Deus. So, and like, I know that ORX is going to be a phenomenal coin machine. It is just going to be, really, really, really good. So what the real question is how does it go with gold? Okay, so on the machine it's got 2 coin modes. So you've got a deep coin mode and a standard coin mode, and then on the you've got 2 gold modes on it as well. So that's the big question. Gold with the ORX, they're going to be, don't hold me to the prices, guys, simply because they're not here yet, and anything could happen on the way through customs and all that sort of jazz. But I believe they're going to be $12.99 with wireless headphones. Then they're going to be $11.49 without headphones. And you got the choice of 2 coils. So you've got the elliptical coil, the small elliptical coil, and the small small round coil. It's also compatible with the XP Deus coils, the standard coils. So down the track, if you want more programs, you can actually just buy the control box for the XP and a set of headphones, and you've actually got an XP Deus. So long. I cannot wait to take that out to Warwick. I know there's a patch of ground there that is super heavily mineralised. I think it'll be, and a simple machine to use, so I think it'll be good. David asked there, how long have I been in the game? Well, I've been really selling machines and doing this sort of thing for about 6 or 7 years. But I remember my grandfather collected rocks. He had this beautiful, at one stage in his life he was a miner. He had this beautiful mahogany cabinet that was filled with all these specimens, as you did back in those days. You had these little cabinets, and I was fascinated by that. And by 18 I was swinging a detector, and so really, I put it down for a few years, picked it up, put it down. So I've been kicking around, yes. So, I've been around for a little bit. So Nancy asked a question. So Nancy, where's the info on this contest? Just here. Can someone in the USA stand a chance of winning this, or is shipping costs prohibitive? No. The rules are you share the live stream either during or before the live stream. You go into the draw, and it goes into a random number generator. And if your name comes out, I will probably, it may work out better for me to contact someone in the UK and send it straight to you not from the UK. Be sort of a bit pointless contacting someone in the UK if you're in the US, but I'll contact someone in the US, I'll get it shipped straight to your door. So yes, absolutely. If you're in the UK, if you're in US, if you're in Upper Mongolia, I'll do what I can to send it to you. So yes. Right, so Right, go David. Marky's here. Hey, Marky. Lee. Peter's here. Nanny's here. Francis. Francis asked, do the SDC 2300 have upgrades? No, they don't. Not at this stage. I don't think the programs on them are upgradable, but well, they're certainly not. But I don't know whether they're bringing out a new machine, or if that's what you meant, sort of thing. So, yes, all hail the randomizer. That's what we've nicknamed our random number generator. Warren has this big spiel about it, that it's steam driven, made out of parts from a Dodge, and fantastic, the randomizer. So Trevor asks an interesting question, and it leads me into something I want to talk about anyway. So let's just touch on coils quickly before we get to these other specials and other bits and pieces. So Trevor asks here, is there much difference in performance between an elliptical coil over a round coil? So, if we're talking about, let's just say we're talking about two double D coils. So, there's not, the biggest difference is target separation. So target separation is one thing. So an elliptical coil, being narrower, it has a narrower field of vision in the center. So therefore, you can get your target separation is better. If you've got a big round coil on it, if we're talking double Ds, right, the center signal is wider, so you won't get as much target separation. As far as a double D coil versus an elliptical coil, right? So elliptical coil has got two rings around the outside. Double D coil has got two rings from the outside, and they overlap in the center. So from an elliptical coil point of view, and let me just bring up this image. It just helps me describe it a little bit better. So from an elliptical coil point of view versus a double D. So the double D coil is actually in the green, okay? Whereas the elliptical coil is in the yellow, right? So the signal that picks up a target, right, is in green and yellow, okay? So the double D coil sends a narrow beam out that's quite long. It sharpens the edges. It's not quite as rounded. You see that difference with the double D. It tends to be a longer, a deeper signal. Not a deeper signal, but a longer. It spreads out more. So from target separation point of view between an elliptical coil and a double D coil, clearly looking at that photo over there, the double D coil gives you much better target separation. You will find though that an elliptical coil, or a monocoil particularly, is probably a monocoil on the pulse induction machines will be much more sensitive to small targets than a double D coil. So that's just a little bit about those coils. The other thing I probably want to mention too is, if you just notice those two coils, and it doesn't really matter what coil you've got on your machine, right? You look at how much ground you lose the further down you go, okay? So when people talk about overlapping their swings, right, that's what you're counting for. You're trying to find that coin, like that the yellow coil will miss that coin, right? If you don't overlap, if you start your next swing, hang on, I haven't got enough. If you start your next swing, you will miss that coin. So it's really important to overlap your swings so you take into account the narrowing of the field below the ground. So that's a very important point. So when we talk about coils, and I've got another little target, another that gives a bit of an idea sort of thing. So double D over the far side, narrow, will go fairly deep, concentric. Again, it's a narrowing field down the bottom. And then small coils go shallow, but are much more sensitive to small targets. That's why people use small coils. Big coil will go a lot deeper, but you'll start missing those small coils. So that's that's really, really basics on coils. So if you've got any questions, we will do a whole show on coils in the new year, but that's just a basic overview there. So right, so 73 comments behind. Yes, thanks, Helen. Helen's saying it's a good way to explain it. Helen, it's not actually like the technical stuff. The problem with metal detecting is the technical stuff just bores the crap out of people. So technically, it wasn't exactly right, but that's the best way to explain it, the way I see it. So yes, so there'll be people here disagreeing with me, but yes. Robert asks here, new to gold prospecting, what's the best place to find maps of the goldfields? Probably the mines department online. So Queensland's got a mines department, great mapping system. New South Wales, Victoria, WA, all got good mapping systems. So yes, so yeah, a lot of people describe how you use the coil. Robert says it's like a colouring book. You got to colour in all the spaces. A lot of people describe it as looking at the coil and going, "That I'm painting the ground." Yeah, it's all that sort of thing. So, Mike, those coils were different coils, the double D concentrics, but yeah, they're different coils. So, yes, right. So Johnny's here. Johnny just hit. Johnny's lagging, and if anyone has any lagging issues, normally it's your internet. We seem to be, so I haven't dropped any frames tonight so far. So quite often if you hit pause for 30 seconds, you'll get that 30 seconds of buffer and away you go. So Scott also asked a very, very good question here. So Scott asked, do you find the accuracy or effectiveness of the detector or the power of the detector drops off when the battery is at a lower voltage, because as the battery's getting flatter? They're better battery packs than others. Okay, so years ago, when I first started detecting, you'd put a set of batteries in and your performance would go like this. It would just go downhill. As the batteries got flatter and flatter and flatter, your performance would go downhill. Now virtually all machines, so all modern machines will have a voltage corrector in it. So you'll go 100%, nothing. So that's how they work now. So that's how they work now. Now, when you talk about better batteries, there are better batteries, but they just give you longer, more power. So you might, out of a standard set of batteries, let's talk about since we're giving it away tonight, let's talk about an ACE 200. You might get 20 hours out of a set of standard batteries on a ACE 200. You buy really, really high quality batteries, right? You might get 24 hours out of a set of batteries. You put and then there's rechargeables. Normally you get less time out of rechargeables, even good rechargeables. So yeah, it just depends on what sort of batteries you're putting in, what you want to do. But there are better quality batteries. But normally it's not so much about getting better performance, because there's always a voltage regulator in there. So you get 100% and then nothing. That's the idea. So yeah. So yeah, it's a great question though, because years ago it used to be like this and people would change the batteries every hour to keep the performance up and rah, 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 rah. So, right. Right. Lots of people saying no lagging. Mitchell asks, how do cheaper detectors perform? Cheaper detectors, okay, so if we're talking about coins and relics, a machine like an Ace 200, a Go Find, a lot of those, Digitech, there's heaps of those cheaper machines out there. If you're looking for coins, dry sand on the beach, these are great machines. If you want to start going into wet sand or looking for gold, you really, although they will work, right, the only setting you've normally got to control the noise they make, the ground noise that they make, is the sensitivity. So you've got to turn the sensitivity down you've got to turn the sensitivity down to control that background noise. So cheaper machines will work, but you will lose a lot of depth if you take them into an environment they're not comfortable with. And then as you go up in price, like Go Find 20, the 40 will go deeper and the 66 will go deeper. So the more money you spend, and if you've got better features on it, more discrimination. So you'll dig less rubbish and you'll go deeper. So as you go up the price range. So that's always an important thing to remember when you're looking at cheaper machines. Buy a branded machine, buy a Minelab, buy a Garrett, buy a Technetics, buy a, Fisher, but buy a branded machine. Some of those big box sort of stores, they tend to be a bit hot and cold. So just be a bit careful with the cheap machines. So, okay, Mark's got a very good question here. Mark, I'm actually only 50 behind at the moment, but Mark's got a good question, 50 up. But Mark says, what's hot ground mean? So hot ground is very, very heavily mineralised ground. So if you go into an area, normally it's in the gold fields, because gold forms in heavily mineralised ground. With gold will come up through the crust of the earth with a whole stack of other minerals. So it's just it's a term we use for a heavily mineralised ground. It's hot. You go on the detector and the detector goes nuts, and you have to ground balance it. So that's what we mean by hot ground. So it's just heavily mineralised ground, and most of the machines over about $750 will have a ground balancer on it, which allows you to tune that ground noise out so you can hear the targets in amongst the ground noise. So Anthony, that was my point about Anthony asked, in hot ground does the Ace cope well? Not really. It'll be noisy, it'll be hard to drive. That doesn't mean you can't find gold with it, doesn't mean you can't use it out there. It just means that there's better machines that'll handle that ground a lot better and make your life a lot simpler. And so no, like it will work out there and you will find stuff, but it's not the best machine, and it'll be noisy and it'll be hard to drive. It'll hear ground noisy. You'll think you got a target. You'll dig it. You'll half dig a hole and the target disappears. It'll do all that sort of thing. So, so that's yeah. Right. Who else is here? Scott's here. What was that question, Scott? Audio only, or would you go for one with a target ID? Oh, for a beginner, Scott, I think we're still on the beginner subject here. I really think you're better off with one with a target ID. It gives you a little bit more information, and it means you're going to dig less holes. It really does. So that's what I would suggest, Scott. I mean, there are cheaper ones out there with dials, and target ID does make life so much easier. So you can just go, oh, that's what the target ID is. So, yeah. The wave. So for a metal detector, okay, so we're talking about beginning metal detectors and what have you a bit here. So for a metal detector, if we just generalise and talk about all metal detectors, all VLF metal detectors, the mineralisation in the salt on the beach and the mineralisation in the gold fields are two opposites to a metal detector. So that's why you end up with machines that are like really, really good on the beach, right? And then they're not much chop out in the bush, right? And vice versa sort of thing. That's normally how you work. There's a couple of all-rounders that have come out just recently. It used to be XP Deus. Now it's like the Equinox is really good on the beach, but you know, from a few reports, it seems to struggle a little bit in the goldfields. The AT Max works the other way, struggles a little bit on the beach, but is pretty good out in the goldfield. So, like, you know, those all-rounder machines, they really sort of, you know, the ORX is coming out. Who knows what it's going to be like out in the goldfields. So, you know, there's a few all-rounder machines out there. And I normally say to people, like, if you want to go chasing gold, right, and it's all you want to do, buy a gold machine. Buy a gold bug 2. Buy a gold monster. You know, the AT Max at a push, you know. They will still work in the opposite environment, but, yeah. So, yeah, you know, that's what I tend to say. So, yes. So, right. Okay, just give me a minute here. I've got someone banging on the door like he wants to come in. So just give me a minute here. I'll just race out the front. Just while you're here, while I'm just disappearing, tonight's background picture is Steve Weirden's farm at Gympie. It's a beautiful looking creek. I won't be a tick. Sorry about that, guys. I think we got the other side of the building here. We got the Southside Sports Club, and something tells me he might have got the short shift from the Southside Sports Club. So sorry about that, folks. Right, I'm 160 behind here. So yeah. So Brendan, no, it wasn't the tax department. It was someone who'd had a few to drink. So anyway, we've all been there. So yes. So right. So let me just catch up here. G'day, Don. Merry Christmas to you, Don. So Rodney talks about the GPX 5000 in salt gold mode on the beach works well for me. Absolutely. Like, these machines will work in the opposite environment, but the problem with a GPX on the beach, right, in salt mode, it'll run quiet. It'll love it. But you got to dig every target. You can't say, oh, that's a bottle cap. And it will go so deep on the beach. Like, you'll be finding bottle tops at 800 mil, and you can't really tell what they are before you dig it up. So, yeah, that's and I've used ATXs on the beach. It drives me balmy because you're digging bottle tops all day where everyone's digging good targets. So, yeah. Right. So, Anthony's here, Chris is here, Scott's here. Yes. If your machine's frozen, right, just pause it for 10 seconds and it'll give you some it'll give you a bit of time to catch up. So let's just get everything sorted here. Tonight's prize, Ace 200. Fantastic prize. All you need to do is like and share. Like the page. You don't even need to like. You just need to share the post. We'll look at the shares in about 15 or 20 minutes, and we'll we'll send that out to someone tomorrow as a bit of a Christmas present. So, speaking of Christmas time to put, look at that. Maybe I've got, there we go. We'll get rid of that. So, okay, when the hat goes on, we've got some specials here. Okay, so we also do E-swing hammers, right? We've got a stack of different ones. This is a 14-ounce hammer. So if you're after a good GEO hammer, you will never break these. These are phenomenal picks. There's some sort of warranty on it. But these are phenomenal picks. I've had one for a lot of years. So E-swing pick. It's just the 14-ounce one I put on special. It's 15% off, so that's really good buying. And the code for that is WI117. So WI117. And then we got a tether here, right? These tethers are fantastic. There's 3 different types. This one's got a clip on the top. There's a Velcro one that Velcro's on. Then there's a belt clip one that you clip on your belt. And what they are is they're designed they're designed as a security thing, but they've got a pull-out Kevlar cord on them. And you can hook them to your pinpointer so you don't lose your pinpointer. So they're a good little Christmas gift for a detectorist. So the tether, the code is 10% off. The code is TT77. So TT77 for that. I've got one more special to give out. I'm a bit nervous about giving it out. I might get into strife with this one, so I'm a bit nervous about this one. So. But we'll give that out in a little bit of time, sort of thing. So, right. So, where am I? 48 behind. That's okay. Yeah, these are fantastic. These hammers, everyone's loving these hammers. These are fantastic hammers. The E-swing gear. The E-swing. We do a stack of chisels and pry bars and all that sort of stuff with E-swing, and I haven't broken a bit of their gear, and I've been pretty harsh on mine. So, yes. So, Scott asked, do you detect around Gympie? Scott, not necessarily right around Gympie. Certainly within, 50, 100k radius, I certainly do. So, yeah, absolutely. So, g'day Brendan. G'day Mel, g'day Daniel, g'day Scott, Helen. CC picks, Roger, we do a whole range of CC picks. I think there's about, let's say 8 different ones. So there's a range of prices from $85 up for the bigger ones. So E-swing picks, they vary in price as well. They go from about $100. I think the 14 ounce is about $100, and they go up to like $140. Even some of the, like we do crack hammers from Sando. They're mostly used in the mining companies. They're like a short sledgehammer, but they've got a bit of weight to them. And it's for driving a chisel in and taking samples and that sort of thing. They're like $250, but they're fantastic. Yeah, they're fantastic. So yeah, they're good tools. So. Right, great idea. David, Sleuth ran great yesterday, but good colour again. Plenty in Gippsland. Good stuff, David. You're getting a bit of colour. Yes, we might need to come up with a new name for these sales, because flash sales, I got into a lot of trouble with Facebook. They thought I was doing something pornographic, I think. So, yes. We'll put Andrew asked any of the magnets on sale for the magnet fishing. We'll do magnets as part of the sale next week. So yeah, we'll make sure they're a good price, Andrew. So Shane, yes. I do need a tether for my glasses. I keep losing them. I had to ring my wife today and say, "Mister, my glasses there?" No. Right. Okay, so Daniel's here and Anthony's here. I'm just reading these comments here. So Ben asks, what's better? I have an area with extreme EMI under power lines. Interference filters or coils? your interference is coming from, so depending on what machine you've got, it's a very, very different question. So for instance, ATX, Garrett ATX, just, that's what it's good at. You know, it runs under power lines. There's no problems with it all. You just run it under power lines. One of the guys in North Queensland, Donnie, who's kicking around tonight, I think it was 66 kVA lines that he was detecting underneath it. Okay, he was hearing a bit of that interference, but running, you know, he picked the target out, no trouble at all. So depends on your coil. You're going to have to play with it, Ben. Give it a decent run. You probably, I would start with interference filters before coils, because, you know, and then if you're running, I don't know what machine you're running, Ben, but if you're running a machine like a GPX and GPZ, I don't know whether there's coils made that will help you. Yeah, we're going to also do some, I've got some crevicing tools. We'll do some crevicing tools on special next week. In fact, while we've got just a minute, I've been talking to a new company. They're opening up manufacturing next year. They're called Crazy Crevicing, right? And they have donated $400 worth of products to the show for next week. So that's part of the prizes for next week is from Crazy Crevicer. And I'm very, very excited about Crazy Crevicer because there's a real gap in the market for good quality crevicing tools, you know, all that sort of stuff. So Crazy Crevicer, I'm looking forward to them coming on. So, yeah. Right. So there you go, Ben. Chris says the phase control coil is awesome near power lines. I don't know. I've never had to deal with it. We got pans on special next week, Jason. So next week, yeah, there's Donnie there. You got a 1/2 gram nugget under 66 kVA. So that some machines are great for that. Some machines aren't very good at all. When the ATX came out and the shielding was so good, blokes were running up those power lines in WA in areas that hadn't been detected before, and some of those blokes made an absolute fortune. But it's just picking the horses for courses, the right machine for the right job. So that's what I always try and do. There's a place for every machine. So yeah. Scott, how are you? Places around Adelaide? Yes, there is some to the north of you. Yeah, so yep. Right. Donnie mentions here 330 kVA, no problem. A transmission on a small nail at 300 millimeters. Yeah, see, it just doesn't seem to worry that ATX. But, you know, a GPZ 7000 will go deeper and find better gold. You know, won't do it in the power lines, but, you know, that's how it goes. So, right. So, right. Okay. Sorry, I'm just catching up with these questions here. I'm hundreds behind, but I'm just going to. Okay. So, where's my hat? What time is it? Right. So we've got about 10 minutes left or so. So this is the last special of the night, and I actually think I might get in trouble for this, but bugger it. So if you're in the market for an XP Deus machine, so the ORX isn't out, we're not talking about ORX, we're talking about the Deus machine, right? And we're going to do a special until lunchtime tomorrow, okay, on XP Deus machines, MI4 pinpointers, MI6 pinpointers. So we're going to do a special on that, and we're going to do 7.5% off just for you guys, okay, off the Deus. Now, 7.5% doesn't sound like a heap, but when you work it out for what's going on with my hat? My hat's all folded up and what have you. When you work it out on an $1,900 machine, right, that brings it down to like $1,710. It's a huge saving. I don't know whether my phone's going to start ringing right now, but to lunchtime tomorrow, if you're looking for a XP Deus machine, that is the cheapest that I've ever seen them, and I will have my ass kicked from here to Kingdom Come, I believe, with that. So that was the one I didn't really want to tell you about. So they're on special. So, and if we run out of any of these specials, guys, don't worry, I'll get them in for you. So there's no major rush. Sorry, I will get them in before Christmas for you, so there's not a big problem there. So let me just run through these special prices. Yeah, 7.5. Donnie's just better than a kick in the backside, but 7.5 is a couple $100, you know, so it's not too bad. So Bushwalker sluice is 10% off. Like they're the little 6-inch sluices from Goldrat. BW97. Gold Bug 2 down to $15.99 from $17.69. It's GB47. The large, and straight after the show I'm going to put the extra large in there as well, the pay dirts. They're 15% off, and the code is LPD7. Okay, XP Deus 7.5% off. It's XZ57. So XZ57. These tethers, these really cool tethers, they're 10% off with TT77. And 14-inch East Wing hammer is 15% off WI117. So if any of that interests you, feel free. They will expire by 12 o'clock tomorrow, guys. So, yeah, do what you will with that. But I thought I'd give you some specials. Yes. So if you want any codes, I'll be here for about an hour after the show to answer any of those questions that you've got. What's this code? What's that code? Yeah. So if you've got any of those questions and you missed them, that's no troubles at all. I'll be around. So, yes, good prices. Thank you, Anthony. Special price on Sand Scoop. We might have I don't know whether I'm going to get Sand Scoop soon. I'll look at them for next week. There's a bit of a supply problem. I think I've only got of the ones that you can put a long handle in. I think I've only got one left, and I don't know when I'm getting. I don't know when I'll be getting them back in. So Chai asked, will this be reflected on your page on your site? Absolutely not. You need to go to the checkout, enter the promo code that we gave out. So it's only for you guys that watch this show. I'm not putting them out down in comments. I'm not doing anything like that. It's just, boom, for you guys. So if you've got any questions, send me a PM afterwards and I'll get the codes for you. So let me just run through them quickly again because lots of questions. So the Bushwalker sluice is BW97. The Gold Bug 2 is GB47. The large and the extra large pay dirt, I've got to add the extra large, is LPD7. The XP Deus, that's the machine and the 2 pin pointers, is LPD7. No, sorry, that was the pay dirt one. It's XZ57. The tether is TT77, and East Wing hammer is WI117. So yes, so right, and no one gets any steak knives with it. Some people are paying out here, but I just wanted to give you a bit of a specials. We've got some for next week, you know, as a bit of a thank you sort of thing, and you won't buy them cheaper. So I've made sure of that. So. Right, guys, we've got about 2 minutes left to go into the draw for the Ace 200 for tonight. We've given away a stack of metal detectors this year. we'll probably continue the occasional detector in the early part of next year, but since it's Christmas time, I've been going nuts. So, but yes, so you've only got 2 minutes left to go in the draw to win this. All you need to do is share this live stream, and we'll get that up shortly. The other thing I want to talk to you about too is, see that phone number down the bottom there? That is, oh, hang on, I haven't put it up. That would help. There you go. That phone number is my mobile number. That rings in my pocket. It's just here. So if you guys have got any questions, right, even if it's about research, how to research, what machine to buy, like, I'm here to give you advice. So, and that doesn't ring enough. So please don't hesitate to ring me. So, no, I don't, Gary. I don't do any steak knives, mate. Sorry. Okay. So Marvel, Frank's here. G'day, Frank. Adrian. Yeah, the time just flies. G'day, Dean. How are you? Stephen, hold the hammer up again. The head's floating in midair. Yes, it does a little bit with the green screen, depending on what angle. It's a special hammer, so depending on what angle I hold it up. So, right, so I'm 180 comments behind. So I've skipped a whole lot of questions. I'm sorry. I'll go back and answer them after the show. So no, we don't do. Is Mike ringing me? Oh, yeah. So no, I didn't get the call, Mike. Sorry. So, yes. So right. Okay. So let me just get the randomizer up here. Just give me a minute, and I'll get the randomizer up. There it is. Is that you, Mike? Thanks, Mike. So we'll get the randomizer up here. We'll throw it up on this screen here. We'll close this down. And sorry, guys. I should have this organised a bit earlier, but I can't really fill the page, the selection, without doing it. Okay, so tonight's winner. So there's like, so tonight's winner, right, is of the ATX of the ACE 200, is Lisa Somerville. Where's Lisa from? See if I can find you here, Lisa. I don't know where Lisa's from, but I will contact you straight off after the show. Congratulations, Lisa. You've won that prize, and I will send that out straight after the show, Lisa. So well done, Lisa. How many shares tonight? There was a stack of them. Let me just go back to that page there. Why aren't you loading? The shares were 1470 tonight, a bit over 1470. So a lot of shares. So, but that's the name of the game, I'm afraid. So yes. So well done to Lisa. Now let's talk about next week's show before everyone disappears. So next week's show, right? We've already got Crazy Crevicer, right? Who's a company that's going to do crevicing tools and all that sort of cool stuff. They're starting up next year, and they wanted to get involved, so they've donated $400 worth of prizes. We've got Warren from NQ Explorers on. Garrett have proudly sponsored, sponsoring next week as well. They've put in an ACE 300 and a pan kit. So as that final show for the year, because that'll be the final show. So we'll have over $1,000 worth of prizes. Just an amazing show next week. Warren will be here to wish you all Merry Christmas. So it will be a big show next week. we're going to have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 or 10 specials next week. So more specials this week than tonight. Next week than tonight. So it'll be a proper Christmas bonanza next week. So yes. So thank you everyone for joining me tonight. I'll be here for the next hour or so to answer any questions people have got about special links or anything like that, and we can go from there. So thanks very much, and I'll see everyone